Clay, you're an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur. And as they say in Stoic, the obstacle is the way. And so if you let these pinheads get in your way, you're in trouble. Acta non verba is the motto of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy at Kings Point, New York. I had appointments to Naval Academy and Kings Point Merchant Marine Academy. And Merchant Marine Academy's motto was acta non verba. In other words, don't listen to what a person says. Watch what they do. Clay, my honor to be on your show. And thank you for all you do. I hear the ripple effects from you are good ripple effects. You know what I mean? People rave about what they learn from you. So congratulations.
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas. We have probably grown probably 5 times. We've added, I think when we first started with you, we had 60 to 65 employees. And now we have a little over 300 employees. Before we got involved with Thrive Time, we didn't really have any systems or processes in place. I've probably been to, in 6-7 years, I've probably been to 12 to 13 business conferences. And amazingly, each time I go, I learn something new, and I'm so excited to bring it back and show the team about marketing and how to implement, how to help you guys implement the SEO. And the coaching is just great because there's accountability, and it's just a fantastic way to grow your company. Having a relationship with Thrive Time it's just been amazing for MultiClean. Oh my goodness, it frees me up because then I don't have to take a class on search engine optimization or learn marketing or shoot video. That's not what we do. What we do is commercial janitorial service. And you guys are the experts on marketing, and you teach me and hold my hand and show me how to do it right. And therefore, now my company is much, much larger.
Folks, on today's show, we're joined by a real client. He may look like a male model. He may look like a hologram, but he's a real person. He's a longtime client. He's a man that we consider to be a friend of the Thrive Time Show and a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Kevin. Welcome on to the Thrive Time Show. How are you, sir?
Clay, I'm doing great. Had a great Christmas holiday, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, so first question, can you tell us what is your name, first and last name, and what's the name of your company, sir?
My name is Kevin Thomas, and the name of our company is MultiClean. We are a commercial janitorial service, and we serve the entire state of Oklahoma and Kansas and soon to be Arkansas.
And how long have we worked with you approximately at this point, sir?
It's been about 6-7 years.
When I was young, my dad gave me a promise. He made me promise him 2 things. Number one, that if something ever happened to him, I would always stay in the church. He said, if you stay in the church, you're not going to veer too far off the path. And number 2 is that I would listen to, watch, or read everything ever made by Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn's a great philosopher, a great thinker, and I love the paradigm, the way that he looks at life, the lens that he has for life. And one of my favorite quotes by him is on leadership. And he said, the challenge of leadership is to be strong but not rude, be kind but not weak, be bold but not bully, be thoughtful but not lazy, be humble but not timid, be proud but not arrogant, have humor but without folly. And very few people, I feel like, live up to that standard. Today's guest, I think, really does. He's an incredible leader. He's led a movement called the Reawaken Tour over the last few years. Most of us have heard him on this show from that perspective, but also in a prior life and in the current life, he is an incredible entrepreneur. He's written a book called How to Build a Successful Business, and I'm talking about none other than the author of this book, Mr. Clay Clark.
Thank you, Colton, for lowering your standards yet again. And for anybody out there who's thinking about why should I watch this show, on today's show, Colton, we're going to teach everybody out there how they can increase their income by 8 times. 8 times. That's the goal. 8 times, which is more than 7, less than 10. You say, well, how come you're not going to teach us how to increase our revenue by 50 times? Well, we have a case study, a video I sent over to you, Colton. This is a guy who is an accountant, This is a certified professional accountant who reached out to me about 10 years ago, and we helped the guy grow his business by 8 times over a period of about 5 years, and we helped him to then grow it. Anyway, long story short, when we finished working on his project, we grew his accounting firm to doing $24 million a year of revenue. We helped him buy his dream house, his mansion. We helped him hire his sons. We helped him rebrand his business and take it from a small-time accounting firm into a big-time, massive success. We helped him then go regional. We helped him then change the way the business was organized. It's called hoodcpas.com. hoodcpas.com. When he came into my life, he was a small-town accountant. We helped him write 2 books. We helped him build the workflows. We helped him scale a team. We helped him improve his branding, his marketing. He's a real person. And what I'm saying doesn't seem believable, so I thought maybe if we could, Colton, if we could play the little video clip.
Yeah.
And then break it down.
Let's do it.
I was looking to learn how to take my business, like they've said today, from being very successful to being systematic. I've got a very successful practice in 3 different cities, make good money. Just want to take it to the next level with systems and processes to where I can drive my cars more.
Paul Hood.
I have been a CPA for 33 years.
And what kind of growth have you and your great team had here over the past, let's say, 5-6 years?
For the last 5, when I met you 5 years ago, we were doing 3 million. This year we'll do 24 million.
It's immeasurable, Clay. You know, earlier I had mentioned we brought in like 400 new clients organically in 3 months, 2.5 months. All of them were what's called inbound leads, meaning they reached out to me. They weren't referred to me by another client. They were actually Googled, and CPAs, and they looked at reviews and videos. And so, when you and I first met, I said, people don't look for CPAs on Google. They call their friends or whatever. And you smiled and shook your head and said, okay. And you set out to prove me wrong, and you did. And so anybody, especially in the service business, you can call me, and I'll tell you that I didn't believe Clay Clark for a minute, but it has magnified the reach that we have. And what it's done for us, Clay, it's allowed us to be selective on what clients we take. And these clients are calling us. We don't have to pick up the phone and call them. They're calling us. And it's 100% off of Google searches. So I'll admit it right here. You proved me wrong.
Wow, what a testimony.
That's a real guy. His name's Paul Hood. He's a CPA. And so I want to break it down for everybody watching today's show. If you're self-employed or you want to be, there's 5 steps everybody can take. And again, for Paul, step 1 was coming to a workshop. But let's break it down here. So step number 1, is it time to look for we're talking about this look under the hood for your business. His name is Paul Hood, Hood CPA. So hopefully it gets stuck in your head. But 1, you got to make sure that your marketing is optimized. Now, what does your marketing mean? It's who are your ideal and likely buyers? Who are they? So you say, what does marketing mean? Marketing is how do you get in front of your ideal and likely buyers in a scalable way? So let me give you an example. There was a time in my life, age 14 through age probably 18, maybe age 12 to age 18, where I really was obsessed with basketball. Okay. I would go to 3-on-3 basketball tournaments. I would do basketball incessantly. I was just everything related to basketball. I wanted to go to NBA games. I watched NBA games. I read Slam magazine. And my niche, my obsession was basketball. And so if you were someone selling basketball products, basketball shoes, basketballs, basketball jerseys, I was your guy. And I would buy all of it, regardless of how much money I had or didn't have, because I was obsessed with basketball. Now, as a father, my kids, a couple of my kids are into cheerleading. And so we've got 5 great kids, and I've got 3 of them that are really into cheerleading. So that means the fake hair you're required to wear, oddly enough, for the tournaments, a lot of hairspray. There's spray tanning. There's uniforms there. And so all I'm saying is if you're watching today's show, it's really important that you take a moment and you write down who are your ideal and likely buyers. Because if you're marketing cheerleading, that's very different than if you're marketing basketball, which is very different than if you're marketing accounting. And so my step number 1 with Paul Hood is I sat down with him and I said, Paul, who are your ideal and likely buyers? And we discovered that his ideal and likely buyers are business owners. Business owners. So that's half of his audience is business owners. The other half was individuals who pay taxes, called everybody. But we had to figure out, okay, well, what's the best way to reach these people? And we created a three-legged marketing stool. And so for Paul Hood, his three-legged marketing stool went like this. One, we wanted to make sure that every business in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area, we called them and asked them if they'd be willing to schedule a free consultation with Paul and his team.
Okay.
And if you're a business owner,
that's a very
you know
active marketing. That's going out. That's hunting, not just fishing. You're going out and getting the people.
You know this, Colton. I mean, because you pay taxes. If somebody called you and said, hey, I'm an accountant, and I know you already have an accounting firm. I'll pay you $50 to sit down with you. I promise it won't take more than a half hour. And I'm going to show you how I could reduce your taxes by $1,000 a year or more. And I promise it won't take more than a half hour. Most business owners are at least willing to consider that.
Yep.
So with Paul Hood, the three-legged marketing stool, step number one, we started outbound calling very aggressively. Step number two, this is three legs to the marketing stool. Step number two, we had to optimize the website so when humans on the planet Earth were looking for accountants, they would find him. So when people who are online looking up CPAs or accountants, they would find him. And the third thing we did is we found out there's a local morning show that is typically watched in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they talk about news of the day. And it's kind of a lighthearted local mainstream media show. And we found that it was very, very inexpensive to advertise there.
Okay.
So the three-legged marketing stool we did for Paul was top of Google. We did the Google optimization. We did the outbound calls. And then we also did the local TV appearances. And if you're watching today's show, there's going to be a different marketing plan for you than there is for Paul. And at the workshops, I promise everybody who comes to our workshops is going to leave with a strategic marketing plan. But Colton, I think what happens is a lot of times there's a lot. You mentioned a Jim Rohn quote. I'm going to read you the Jim Rohn quote that's to the right of my screen here.
Okay.
Jim Rohn said, winners do not negotiate with themselves. They do not wake up and ask, should I work today? So he goes on to talk about how, people who are successful have clarity about what they need to do every day.
Yep.
And Paul, to his credit, he was a very physically fit, focused guy. He loved fitness, and he's a very diligent man. What he didn't have, though, was a plan. Even though he was a diligent man, he didn't have a plan. And so he was trying magazine ads and Facebook ads and YouTube ads and Instagram ads and TikTok ads and mailers and every trade shows. He was trying everything, billboards, and nothing was working. But Paul knew that we could help him grow his company. He knew enough. So he went to thrivetimeshow.com, and you heard him there. He came to a workshop, and we literally helped him achieve all of his life goals in 5 years.
Wow.
Every goal he had, the dream house, writing the books, hiring his kids, those are all things that were off to the side that he thought, hey, I've been doing this for 30 years. I don't know if it's going to happen. And we helped him get it all done in less than 60 months. Literally, it was less than 60 months. And so, Colton, I know that's a lot.
No, it's great. Well,
your listeners might have about marketing.
Yeah, well, if you're starting out here and you're listening and you're like, okay, what's this conference? Like, I love that testimony. That's great. It is not too late. If you're watching this right now, it is not too late. June 5th and 6th is the next business conference. I think life rewards those that take massive action on opportunities, and this is one heck of an opportunity you have coming up on June 5th and 6th. I've attended a lot of seminars in my life. I've been to probably hundreds. I mean, since I was like 5 years old, I've been attending seminars and trainings and business conferences and all kinds of stuff. Usually, they provide about 10% value and then end with about a 90% pitch that if you really want the good value, now it's a $20,000 conference you got to go to. It's over here. It's in a private island that we got this thing, and you kind of get arm barred. You're like, you got this much value, this much pitch. And at yours, it is like 99.99999% just value, 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 value in your face, in your face. Any questions you have about running a business, you are there to answer them. From marketing to sales, I've heard somebody ask a legal question before. I've heard somebody's like, hey, I got this idea for this product, but I wanted to patent it. What would you do for patent? Like whatever question you have for business is at your disposal with Clay, and you keep the room small enough that you can truly get through all the questions. I've never been to a training quite like it. You have Tim Tebow there. There's llamas there. There's helicopter rides. There's ice sculptures. Like there's never a business conference that's more fun but more value focused than this. And if you're watching this and it's June 4th, you have time to get there and get down there June 5th and 6th in Tulsa, in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It is one of the best business conferences ever. There is another one coming up in September. If you're like, hey, June 5th is the day that I am, whatever would stop you from going. September, he has another one coming up, the 25th and 26th. But I'm telling you, it is not too late for this June 5th and 6th conference. This is going to be, it's one of the best business conferences I've ever been to in my life. I have paid thousands of dollars to attend a business conference because I knew that 10% value they were going to give me was still worth it. But I'm telling you, this is 100% value focused, and it's one of the best business conferences I've ever been to in my life.
Piling on to your rant, by the way, before I started organizing my own conferences, I was about 24 years old. And to your point, I had gone to all the workshops. I had paid, thousands and thousands of dollars because I knew if I could get one thing, I would go to these things. And I kept going and I kept seeing exactly what you had seen. And I thought to myself, as more and more people kept asking me if they could pick my brain and people kept wanting to hire me to speak to their organizations, I thought, what I'm going to do? I'm going to organize my own workshop. This is my 20th year, by the way, doing that workshop.
Okay.
And by the way, Colton, this is my challenge to you. At the last workshop, your dad was telling me you are the world's best cash flow board game player, Robert Kiyosaki. And I promised your father, I said, I will make sure that I tell Robert Kiyosaki that on the phone and in person, and I will bring up Robert Kiyosaki and Colton at the same time so they can meet. That happened. So my next promise I'm making to you and to your audience is I'm going to pick on you a lot in a good way at the upcoming workshop. I'm going to bring you up a lot, and I'm going to bring you in a lot of other case studies and success stories because people don't know this. You help produce the show. You're also a personality on the show. It very much is a business. So I'm going to pick on you a lot at the workshop. So that's my promise. I will bring you up a lot. We're going to have a lot of fun. Step number 2, if you're looking under the hood, if you want to grow your company, get unstuck.
Yep.
Sales. And I'm going to fire this off 90 miles an hour. Someone might have to watch this segment in slow motion. But here's the deal. Paul Hood. I love Paul Hood. Great guy. This is not a backhanded compliment. He was a very diligent person. He just didn't have the systems. And so I said, Paul, do you have sales scripts? He said, no. Okay. Paul, do you record calls for quality assurance? He said, no. Paul, do you have a sales training process to train new people how to sell? No. Do you have a one sheet where you offer all your products and services? No. Do you have a standardized pricing model? No. Do you have a recurring revenue model? No. Do you have a process to scale the education that you teach so that way clients can get their answers within 24 hours? No.
Oh,
do you have pre-written emails? No. Do you have pre-written any type of sales documentation? No. How about the decor of this is real. When people come to your accounting practices, and maybe your producer can look it up on the screen there, but when they go to your Hood CPA location in Claremore, your Hood CPA location in Tulsa, are you intentional about the sights, the sounds, the smells? And he goes, no. And I said, okay, well, we're going to fix all that. So we actually did the interior design for the company. I'm talking about the bricks. It's like a brick. It kind of looks like it feels like a spaghetti warehouse now inside the locations.
Okay.
We put refurbished vehicles in the lobby. We came up with the idea of a look under the hood. I helped him write the books. We rebranded. And I'm telling you, if you're watching this show, everybody watching this show right now, if you are watching this show and you have the mental capacity and the tenacity needed to go to thrivetimeshow.com, we can help you. And I remember the first time I talked to Paul, Paul said to me, how much does it cost to come to your workshop? And I said, it's $250 or whatever you can afford. And he's like, how do you make any money with that? I said, I don't. How I make money is I get a small percentage of the growth of my clients in most cases. So most of my clients I work with, we charge them a flat rate. And Colton, you know that, $1,700 a month, and then a small percentage of the growth. Now, some clients can't afford $1,700, so we might do a scholarship. Some clients are in an industry where it's illegal to share commissions, so we don't. But I'm just telling you, Paul was going, why do you do this? Like, you personally onboard every client yourself? Why? Mm-hmm. I go, brother, I love it. And the way I used to love basketball, I love this. And the way that somebody out there watching today's show loves movies, I love this. So if you want to team up with somebody that's going to help you get unstuck, I'm telling you, go to thrivetimeshow.com. Now, step number 3, a look under the hood, Colton. You got to have human resources. Okay. You got to have a human resources checkup from the neck up. And I know this, and you know this, and your listeners probably know this subconsciously. But you can't make the dream work if you can't make the team work. What am I saying? Your customers will fire you if you don't fire the bad employees. And your customers will hire someone else if you don't hire the good employees. Let me try that again. Everybody watching today's show, your customers will fire you if you don't fire the bad employees. And they will hire somebody else if you don't hire good people. And most people, in Paul's case, they don't have a hiring system. So I remember with Paul, I said, Paul, do you have a recruitment process? No. Do you have an onboarding process? No. Do you have a handbook? No. Do you have like a mission statement? No. Do you have a process with which you recruit talent? No. Do you have a way in which you maintain rapport with your employees? No. Do you have a merit-based pay program? No. Do you have a career path? No. Do you have merit-based pay? No. Do you have any kind of org chart? No. And nobody does.
Yeah.
Nobody. If you're watching this show, nobody has it, Colton. Nobody
It's very rare that people have it. And then even like the hiring process, because it's like, okay, I got to go through and sift this stuff out. And then you shared a story one time, and I don't want to butcher the details, so maybe I'll just kind of set it back to you here. But you had this story of a person that was running a business, and you guys went in and did a quality check afterwards, and you talked to people that did business with them, and then you went and did business with them, and there was one person that was in charge of like customer relationships, and this person should never have relationship with human. Like they were like this terrible person. I've experienced that. There's a doctor I've worked with that I love the person. The doctor is like the best person ever, but they have the person that you're supposed to meet with afterwards that's supposed to like handle the transaction that makes you feel like, you know, a tiny little person that like kind of belittles you. They're not nice. They're hard to work with. And I'm like, this doctor's got to be losing millions of dollars just because of the person they send you to afterwards.
I have so many, because with every client, by the way, I mean, literally when I say the word every client I ever work with, when I work with an existing company, that story you just shared is kind of the microcosm of what happens. And I'll give you a funny story that'll get stuck in the minds of your listeners. And I apologize that this part, it's not funny for the person this happened to, but it's funny for me because it's enough time has passed. Okay. So it might be shocking. I was working with a client who's a surgeon, and I said to the client, do you mind if we call your patients after the service from a quality control perspective to verify they're happy? And he says to me, yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, well, I kind of have a problem with it. So he said, well, let me just send you a spreadsheet of their first names only and their phone numbers, and that way we're not violating any HIPAA stuff, and we'll set it up. But let me just highlight on the list who not to call. So I get this list, and I get it back, and I look, and probably 2/3 of it is red. I go, what does it red mean? He says, don't call them. I go, okay, so these are people that are not happy. He's like, yes. I said, so just to be clear, you know that 2/3 of your previous patients are not happy. So, yeah, absolutely. I said, so why aren't they happy? He's like, well, you know, a lot of times when you bring somebody in, they're unhappy with the billing process afterwards. And I'm going, what do you mean a lot of times they're unhappy? And he's like, I mean, almost everybody who works with me is a little frustrated with the payment situation. And we discovered, step one, his marketing was really good. Step two, his sales process was crazy. There was no documentation. There was no standardized processes. So everybody that we called, I'm not kidding, everybody we called, we're calling customers to see how happy they are. We would call and go, boop, 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 boop. Hey, I'm calling on behalf of Dr. Such and Such. Is this such and such? Yeah. Hey, we're just doing a quick follow-up post-operation to see how happy you are on a scale of 1 to 10. If 10 is happy and 1 is terrible, just kind of tell us your feedback. And they go, it was awful. It was awful. I literally got quoted this, and they charged that. They said my surgery would be on this day, and it was on that day. Everything about the experience was bad. I said, anything else I could add? They go, it'd be really nice if when I walked into the cosmetic surgery center, if there wasn't blood in the consultation room from a previous patient. And I go, no. What did you just say? And she says, I walked in there and apparently they had just done a facelift. And so, no, it's real.
It's like something out of a horror movie.
I'm going, and I'm thinking, this has got to be an isolated instance. So we're calling through it, and another guy's like, yeah, I mean, I think just the one thing that was kind of tough for me is like I walked in on another patient and they were under the anesthesia.
Oh, no.
And I'm going, so you start calling, you go, so I call the doctor. I said, doctor, are you aware that multiple patients are saying that that the technicians are leaving body parts and blood and in the room after the procedure? And he goes, yeah, I've been trying to get onto the guys. They just don't do a lot of cleanup after sometimes I go, so you mean you might have a surgery on a Thursday and no one cleans up that surgery room till Tuesday? And he's like, yeah, and he knew it. So what I'm saying is you move on to step number 3, human resources. He knew that his janitorial service, these are medical grade janitorial service people, these subcontractors he hired to come in after surgery and clean up. He knew, Colton, that they were not cleaning up the medical exam and surgery room after this is real. And I'm going, so I'm just telling you that you can't just say, I want to fix my marketing.
Right.
You can't just fix my sales. You can't just fix human resources. It's all of it. Step number 4, you got to have systems.
Yep.
It's a system. Well, a system would be something that is designed to produce a predictable result. So I'm going to brag on the Flyover Conservative Show. You guys always send a link to the show. You say, here's the link to the show. Here's the time of the show. So when I'm on your show, I know when the show, what time I'm going to be on your show. You know when I'm going to be on your show.
Yep.
You send a link. I'm not sitting there saying, oh, geez, I wonder if they're going to send a link. And you're
Right.
not thinking, oh, geez, I wonder if he'll be on today's show. And I'm not thinking, oh, man, I wonder what I'm going to say. And you're not thinking, oh, man, I wonder if this guy has any preparation that went into the show.
Right.
It's a system. And so most people don't think in a systematic way. We think in terms of a isolated, pattern-free, constant variable way. So if you're there watching today's show, I want to celebrate a client. There's a client that we work with that does metal roofs. And he went from a dysfunctional metal roof company. I won't mention the name of his company. He calls it dysfunctional. He's come to our conferences and hopped on the mic and said, hey, my name is such and such. I ran a dysfunctional roofing company. And now he's a multi-millionaire that never actually works on roofs. But when I first met him, he was up on the roof every time. He was out there installing the roofs. He was working in the hot sun every day, all day. He'd been doing so for 20 years, but there's no systems.
Yep.
And now he has systems in place so he can wear a polo shirt or a white collar. He can work in his office, have a good time.
Yep.
And because he had one of his children developed almost a critical illness, an illness that was really debilitating, he called me up and he said, Clay, I would not have been able to have gone to the medical exams with my child if it wasn't for the systems. He's like, but now I've spent almost the entire year at the hospital caring for my kid, and a praise report, the kid's doing well now. But this is something where someone had to go with their kid for multiple treatments, and he was able to go every day for a year to ongoing medical treatments because he no longer had to work in the business. But before, he didn't have any systems. And so the guys would show up on the job. They would often forget tools. They would often underquote customers. They would often forget things. They would often have quality lapses. They would often forget to call before they dug, those kind of things. And now they're a very successful company. So again, everybody out there, cosmetic surgeon, doctor, dentist, lawyer, hardware store, wedding photography business, I don't care what business you have, you've got to have systems. And Colton, I think, with your show, I mean, you have a system for the thumbnails.
Yeah.
You have a system for the title tag.
Yep.
You have a system for how they're edited. Could you share with the listeners just a little bit about some of the systems? Because people see the great show, but I don't think they know that you guys have checklists upon checklists to make this thing happen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, everything has to have a checklist. It has to be systematized. Otherwise, it doesn't happen. You miss a step, something doesn't happen. I read a book once called The Checklist Manifesto, and it was basically on like every good company, every good business, if you're a pilot, you got to have your checklist, because if you forget one thing, the plane goes under. I'm very, very big on checklists and constantly working on the business. It was one of the questions when we started working with you. You said, okay, this is how many hours it takes to run your show. This is how many hours it takes for you to be working in Flyover Conservatives. How many hours a week can you dedicate to working on Flyover Conservatives? And you're talking about working on systems, working on marketing, working on these 5 things that you're going through today. And I think we had like 10 hours a week that we could do at the beginning there. And whether it's a roofer and you're swinging the hammer and you're fixing your roof or whatever you're doing, you got to have the hours that you work in the business. You can't get past the fact it's a lot of work to run a business. But then in addition to that, you have to work on the business and work on some of these systems, work on creating them. And that's how eventually you can stop swinging the hammer. You can stop being on top of roofs, and you can wear a polo to work and live the kind of life that you want because you did what other people weren't willing to do, which is work on the business and work on systems. But a lot of people don't know what those systems are or how to build them or how to do them. Definitely come to the conference, but definitely everybody should get this book as well. When you read through this thing, I mean, this has the systems in place. It has the 3-legged marketing stool. It has everything you need to know to run your business.
Now, again, just echoing what you're saying here, you got to have the systems in place. Now, this final step number 5, is it's all about accounting, or you might call it accountability. So in my mind, accounting and accountability are the same part of the business. Yeah. So what does that mean? So today I have a haircut chain. It's called Elephant in the Room. Maybe your producer can pull it up to provide proof that it's real. We have 4 locations. And as God is my witness, and I wish that I didn't have this reality, but it's true, we're remodeling our South Tulsa store. And as we were remodeling the South Tulsa store, the water went out at our downtown store and the power went out at the South Tulsa store. So as luck would have it, the power went out at our South Tulsa store. So Colton, when we're cutting your hair and there's no power, that's tough. When there's no water at the other store, that's tough. So that's the kind of messy middle. And so what does accounting have to do with accountability? I had to make the tough call. I had to say, here's what we're going to do. we're going to divert our customers from the store that doesn't have electricity to the other store. So we did that. And I said, well, since we don't have power there, let's take advantage of this opportunity and let's go ahead and remodel that store while we're down. I mean, since we're down, let's go ahead and remodel it. Let's supply generators. Let's get the contractors in there. We needed a window to do it. Let's go ahead and do it now. And so we were able to do that. But again, it comes down to accounting and accountability. You say, what does this have to do with this? Accounting is how much money do you have left at the end of the week. It's not how much money you make, it's how much money do you have left at the end of the week. And accountability is, are people doing what they're supposed to do? So bragging on Paul Hood with Hood CPAs, once he knew these systems, he really leaned in to managing his team. And he really leaned into the idea of, okay, to make my company work, now that we've spent the first year building all these systems, now we have to hold people accountable to doing it. I mean, once we know the systems, it might seem boring, but we've got to bore down. Once it might seem boring and tedious, but we've got to bore down. And so once we got the initial events done, he really leaned into accounting and accountability, and we helped him scale his company from, again, $3 million to $24 million plus. He used to get 400 inbound leads in a typical year.
Yeah.
True story. And you heard him in that testimonial. He got to a place where he was getting 400 inbound leads a month.
Wow.
And so, and I just encourage everybody out there, and you say, well, Clay, how come he's not a client anymore? Well, a lot of my clients wish to sell their company. And so a lot of my clients, they get to a certain point and they want to sell the company and they want to move on to other things in their life. And that's what happens typically. And that's why we work with most clients for 6 or 7 years. So calls to action for anybody watching today's show. This is great stuff. Call to action number 1. There's 3 calls to action. Go to thrivetimeshow.com and find a way somehow to get to our in-person workshop, whether it be Tim Tebow in June or whether it be the September conference with Eric Trump. Again, it's September in Oklahoma, September 25, 26. There's Eric Trump, Julie Green, Amanda Grace, Dave Scarlett. And I put the names of some of the faces on the flyer, but you know this. I pick on a lot of people in the audience in a fun way. I don't like throw people under the bus, but I bring up active clients so they can share about implementation. So there's really probably 50 faces that should be on the flyer, but that's September 25 and 26. And then June 5th and 6th, Tim Tebow. So step number 1, go to thrivetimeshow.com, request those tickets, or you can text me directly. My cell phone number is 918-851-0102, 918-851-0102. And if you want a chance to win backstage passes, just use the promo code FLYOVER when you request your tickets. You have a chance to win backstage passes. Also, if you use promo code FLYOVER, you do get a substantial discount on VIP tickets. So again, and as of right now, as of this very second, we have 7 tickets remaining for the Tim Tebow Conference, June 5th and 6th, 7 tickets remaining. We only accommodate again, at our September conference, there'll be about 450 people in the house. Our typical workshops, we have just a couple hundred people, so it's very interactive. That's September 25th and 26th, Eric Trump, June 5, 6, Tim Tebow. Call to action number 2. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources, it's a lot to type in there, but thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources, thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. If you go there, you can download every book I've ever written for free. And I'm always working on another book. So like right now I'm working on a book. I'm always working on a book. So I've written 30-something plus books, but I'm always working on a book. And so every time I write a book, obviously you can buy it on Amazon, but if you want to download it for free, you can get that at thrivetimeshow.com/free-resources. And then perhaps the most important step you can take today is go to thrivetimeshow.com and click on the testimonials button. This right here is the homework everyone should do. It costs you nothing. And when you go there, there's 2,000 success stories of real people just like you that have had massive success. There are over 2,000 video case studies and success stories. I would challenge everybody out there to watch at least 2 of them, because I'm not kidding. 95% of my clients, Colton, tell me, they say, Clay, I've listened to your show for years, and for whatever reason, I thought success was for other people. I didn't think it was me. I didn't think I could afford it. I guess I didn't understand that your scholarship packages actually allow us to meet any budget. I didn't know you will meet any budget. I didn't know you had scholarships. I guess you had said that, but I didn't understand it. And then once they reach out, they always go, I don't know why I didn't do that sooner. And in the case of Paul Hood, he was able to buy his dream home, build his dream home, a mansion, by the way. You saw that. He was able to buy his dream luxury cars. He was able to employ his kids. He was able to write 2 books. He was able to scale a company from a small accounting firm to $24 million, and he did all of it in less than 5 years. So I'm asking you watching today's show, what is it costing you to not go to thrivetimeshow.com right now and take action. Colton, a lot of information.
No, it's good. And you started out this whole thing by saying, what if you could 8x your income? And I challenge our listeners, what would that look like to you? If you're listening to this today and you're, you work at a company or you own a company or you're, self-employed, you're a business owner. If you next year were able to make 8 times what you made this last year, what would that look like for you? What would your life look like? What would you do differently? What would look the same? What would your world look like if you were able to 8x your income? And I'll say this personally, I've been able to do that by working with you. I have 8x'd our income personally by working with you over the last few years. So thankful for you. So thankful for what you've been able to provide to me and my family, the coaching and the accountability, the account of our ability and what we're able to do, and the training and the systems and the processes and just the weekly coaching that we get from you guys is the best I've ever seen. Again, decades of being at business conferences, I've never seen anything quite like getting to work with Clay Clark. So go to thrivetimeshow.com. There's unlimited resources for those that are willing to do the work. And so thankful for you, Clay.
Clay Clark is here somewhere. Where's my buddy Clay? Clay's the greatest. I met his goats today. I met his dogs. I met his chickens. I saw his compound. He's like the greatest guy.
I ran from his goats, his chickens, his dogs.
So this guy's like the greatest marketer you've ever seen, right? His entire life, Clay Clark, his entire life is marketing.
4,000% from February to February. Now I can better that. Okay, Clay, I don't think you know this. I'm pinching myself, and if I cry, forgive me. In the last 2.5 days, we have bettered our entire month of February in the last 2.5 days. So, and the phone's blowing up. Everything's just blowing up. You're right. It is like a rocket ship. So we're pinching ourselves, actually.
I learned at the Academy, Kings Point in New York, acta non verba. Watch what a person does, not what they say.
But I recognized at the age of 15, I'm going, you know what? I am not going to live that way. And so I started a company out of my parents' basement called djconnection.com. And I decided I am going to have success. And so I reached out to millionaires and people that I kind of knew through church and friendships and parents of my friends. And I said, what book would you recommend that I read? I'm a 15-year-old asking this question. True story. And I kept being told, you got to read.
Hello, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Radio Show. It's an exciting time. Also, I think a treacherous time, a spooky time also. But it's always, danger is a good time. Today, my guest is Clay Clark, and I went out with Tom Wheelwright to visit Clay with Eric Trump also. And the reason I want to talk to Clay this morning is a very important subject called study. And the reason I say that is things are changing so fast, and many people are completely missing the show. Things are changing at rapid speed. Technology is changing. And so I went to Tulsa, again, with Tom Wheelwright and Eric Trump. And the thing I was so impressed about Clay is this word called study. I don't know, you guys must be in your water or something, Clay, but boy, I was so impressed how big you guys are. But what really impressed me was you have this huge congregation. They're all about guys your age. They're on fire. And you start your classes at 5 a.m. Now, let me talk to you about study here. We show our books here. Now, this is how I study. This is the creature from Jekyll Island. It's on the Fed. And Clay's doing the same thing. We study. So I go out to Clay's place in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He's built this huge compound out there. And you guys start at 5 o'clock in the morning. It's not by Zoom. They drive there. They show up 5 o'clock, bright-haired, bushy-tailed and all this. And they're on fire. Your group is on fire. So that's what was on Clay, this technology. You tell your group I was so impressed. Because, like I said, studies became a bad word. I got into fights in my own company because our staff didn't want to study anymore. And I don't know how they cannot do that. So, Clay, anyway, welcome to the Rich Dad Radio Show. That's what I want to talk to you about, is how do you do it? 5 o'clock in the morning, you have hundreds of people showing up in your huge auditorium on your property to study. Anyway, welcome to the show, Clay, and What turns you on so much? That's what I want to know. Give us a little about your background.
My name is Karime Schofield, and the name of our company is Whistle While You Clean.
I am Sophia Schofield.
We live in Cincinnati, Ohio, and we service the tri-state, so Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana.
We were getting a phone call, and we were like, why is someone calling our business line? That's unusual, and we picked it up, and it was a lead.
I mean, it's been incredible, Clay. We've gone from 0 to like 100% growth. Like we're like a full functioning company. It's great. Like we're blown away at how well we're doing. So working with you guys have really taught us a lot about generating leads and pursuing our Dream 100. So we have a list of customers that we want to market to. And so we've been making phone calls, we've been showing up in person. We're trying to get near the businesses that they would visit if they were visiting like a hair salon or something. And then we start calling them and we just start pursuing them. And then the other thing that we do is when we do cleans, we take a lot of video testimonials and we post those to our website so other customers can see. And then we also upload a lot of images of the things that we do. And so we're also asking our clients for Google reviews after we've cleaned their houses. And so it's this constant like cycle of doing those things over and over and over again. I would say if you're on the fence, go to one of Clay's conferences. They are hilarious. They're fun. They're educational. They're so good that even my teenagers like them. And I would say don't let fear hold you back. If you want to start a business, do the obvious thing and hire someone who knows how to run businesses. If I wanted to get in shape, I'd hire a gym person, a personal trainer. This is like the personal training for business. It has been absolutely amazing. I mean, our coach is encouraging. When he first met with us, he said, do we want him to be like a drill sergeant with us? What level of intensity do we want him to give us? And I will say he is incredibly, incredibly encouraging all the time. And he just hits the same mark with us every single time. It's very repetitive. But I think we both really learn a lot every time we sit down and have a conversation with him over the phone. He keeps pushing us to go further, and he can recognize when we're afraid to do something and he'll give us a little bit of grace, but that next week he's drilling us again, like pushing us to go harder. Our no-brainer offer is we are offering your first clean for $1. And that sounds absolutely insane. It even sounded insane when I was talking over it with our business coach. And I will tell you that has generated some of our hugest clients. I mean, that has been like a game changer because it opened up the door to more clients, more recommendations, more leads. And we were surprised how far that dollar clean got us.
How important has it been for you to work out that scripting, even though you offer $1 for the first clean? How important has it been for you to nail that down?
It's been really important because it kind of it hones in so that you're not just all over the place when you're trying to explain what it is that you do. And a lot of times it's like you're a good person offering a good product and you have integrity and you want to communicate that. But when you go to communicate without a script or without practice, it's just like a mess coming out of your mouth, as opposed to having this, honed in practice where you know what you're going to say, you know how you're going to say it, and you can almost expect better results when you do it that way.
Had you ever been an entrepreneur before starting this particular business?
No, never.
Did you ever think about wanting to own your own business someday? Or what was the first time you thought, maybe I would like to open my own business?
Absolutely. I've probably been dreaming about it for about 10 years.
Okay. And let me go to your daughter here. Had you ever thought about wanting to team up and open your own business? Or was that something that you were maybe excited about or not so much?
Well, for me, my parents would always listen to your podcast and business podcast. And as I started listening to them, I started realizing that I wanted to own a business.
It's www.whistlewhileyouclean.com. Honestly, the hardest thing was getting over the fear. It was the fear of the unknown. There was like a cloud of doubt that, you can't do this, you're gonna fail. There was a few sleepless nights there when we did pull the trigger and join your team and start the coaching process. Even my husband put a little bit of pressure on me from time to time because it was just absolutely scary to take that jump and actually start a business.